In this episode, I'm going to talk about how I would create the most dangerous motorcycle club on earth. I would never do that because I'm not starting a club. But if I put my evil genius hat on right now, what I would do, and you could get these black bandana gloves now. They're on www.demonsroad.com. Let's go for this ride. Let's get into it.
We run the night. We run the night. Run.
All right, y'all, welcome back for another ride. Believe it or not, a lot of people say, Sos, why don't you start a motorcycle club? With the reach that you have, with the relationships you have, this thing would take over. So let's just get this out the way. I would never start an MC because of how much work it takes, and for the fact that when it comes to expansion, you don't know who. Like, all right, let's say I'm in New York. We're starting in New York, right? Let's just say, for instance, or wherever, California, and we're good with the big clubs out there. We get the blessing. We wait a year. We put our soft colors on, all that, and we work our way up, because you gotta respect the culture. You gotta earn your stripes, or it doesn't mean anything. So let's say we did that, and then we start expanding. We got somebody in Georgia, and they're like, yo, I want to be down with the club too. You don't know who this dude really is. He could talk a good game, but then he's wearing your patch out there and he's getting smacked up. And that's the same thing that happens with diamond clubs. I know a lot of solid diamond clubs that open up in other states, and they got brothers getting washed up out there because they're not built like that. So let's play evil genius right now. What would I do if I was driven to start a motorcycle club? And let me know in the comments what you would do, and let me know what you think about my ideas. First off, I'm thinking out the box from the jump. No forever this, forever that, like all the other clubs do. Anything that clubs already do, I'm not doing it. I'm doing something the opposite, or I'm doing something that's more creative. You know what I mean? Not just putting on, I'm not gonna make the name something with devils, or, you know, like a Hell's Angels light type of situation, because of lack of creativity that a lot of people have. So what I would do is, I'm not gonna say what name it would be, because I don't know for a fact what that name would be, but I would definitely use like my Ghost of Ellie character, muscular tattoos, sitting on a big bike with ape hangers, you know, like big ass ape hangers, that kind of thing. But what I would not do is a bottom rocker. What I would do is make the patch so big that it feels like a fully three-piece set, but it's not though. And the way it's outlined, put a nice white outline around it so it really stands out, and don't put too much detail into it. Because if you put too much detail, I see a lot of clubs that you can't really tell what the character is. So less is more, especially when it comes to embroidery. But that's the small stuff. Patches wise, like the vest I'm wearing right now, upside down pyramid. I'm doing that type of stuff, connecting them. If we go for rides, we have certain patches where, let's say we go for a ride to Chicago, we're gonna have a little Chicago patch you put down on the bottom side of your vest. All the patches that are accrued are earned from rides, from events. So everything, if you see somebody decorated, it means they really were at a lot of places to get this decoration. But let's talk about the outline of the way I would outline a club. One thing that I would do, that I learned from one of my big homies, he had a club, right? I don't want to name it because what I'm talking about is describing certain things that he used to his advantage or whatever. But there was a auto club, an MC, and an SC, all under the same name. What I would do is start the main club, right? An MC, you have to be on a certain kind of bike. I would say American-made bike. Now, hear me out here. I'm not kicking my sport bike riders out of the situation, but sport bikes and Harleys riding together, it doesn't make sense and it doesn't look right. So what I would do is create not a support club, a brother club, which has, it's a different club, but it's brother. So we function as one. So you'll have all your street bike dudes under that, so that they could do their thing, the way they ride or whatever, but they're under a different name. But it's a name that goes with it, and it would be a brother club. So we would both have a patch that, I don't know what it would be, but it would be a patch that represents like, we're the same team. We're just riding different bikes, but it would have a different club name. They would have their president, and then the two presidents would come together with the national president. And what I would not do is allow them to party separately. We move as one unit. Listen, when you do that, you'll have 50 dudes, 100 dudes going to an event just because you organize correctly. Now, another thing I would do is create an auto club that's under the branch too. They'll have a different name, a different president. And this is the sneaky thing that you could do with this. And hear me out. I know a lot of MCs are like, that auto stuff, whatever. Bullshit. This is the way where you have your cousin who don't ride, your best friend that don't ride. They could be in the auto and they don't have to have a tricked out ride. They just have to have a car. They'll have their own club, but now you have people that are family, that are your closest friends, that can be affiliated with you, but they just wear that. All the patches are different, but it's brothered up. Everything is brothered up. Now when you go to the party, you're 100 deep. Easy. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen this happen, but usually it's all under one branch. But I've watched the dominant clubs. This is what they do. Since they have the history and everybody knows that they get busy, people go to them and they check in and they get the blessing and they become their support club. So when they go to an event and they're 100 deep, it's only 12 brothers that's in the Diamond Club, 15 brothers, but all support. You know what I'm saying? So this is the way that you can have your arms stretched out. And in my opinion, it makes it more fun because there's different dynamics to it. Nobody's better than nobody. And this is the way that you recruit, because you have your street bike brothers. If they want to jump on that Harley, then they step up to the main, the main MC that started the whole thing. Real quick, if you enjoy MC culture content, smash the like and the subscribe button. Give me a pound wherever you're from. Get your Ghost of Ellie mask, shades, Demons Row snapbacks in all colors, tank tops, crew necks, track races. We got it all, and you can get it on www.demonsrow.com. Let's get back into it. And this is how you expand, because if you have that support, which I would call brother, not support, because just because you ride a street bike doesn't make you a flunky. So I would make the street bike club they would have their respect, but no territories. The reason why I don't like territory, if you live in New York City, you live in the Bronx where I'm from, and you have some brothers and they're from Yonkers, but you don't have a Yonkers chapter. Now they're wearing a bottom rocket that says the Bronx, but they're from Yonkers. It doesn't make sense. And also, if you have brothers that live far away, they could be part of your club, not be as active if the chapter isn't deep, but they could still be a member of your club and wind up expanding it in other places because you don't have the territory issues. And honestly, clubs that don't care about territory can grow way faster, because it's like the big clubs know you're not here to take over, you're not about territory, so it's a lot easier to get blessed in different states. So if I was to want to expand, and obviously I'm going to use my relationships, talk to the bigger diamonds, lay out my whole plan. See, it's different for me because I know some heavyweights. So I would sit down with them and be like, look, this is what I want to do. How do I do it? Like patch wise, like what do you think about this? You know what I mean? And like tell them like, yo, we don't want to mimic nobody. We got our own shit going on. And how I would structure within these clubs, I don't care who you are, where you fall, you're a sergeant at arms, you're whatever. Everybody has the same voice. The president brings it up, the sergeant at arms, whoever, VP brings something up, and then the body votes. There's no fucking politics. There's no I'm better than you. If someone is talking behind a brother's back, you bring it to the table and then you let them know, listen, In this club, we say shit to each other's face. We don't talk behind each other's back. That's bitch shit. And when you have that type of rapport where it's a standard, you make it standard where you have to address the person if you have an issue with them. Not talk about it to this one on the side and you got 3 brothers not liking him. You know, that's where all the drama starts. And I would cut cancers out quick. If it's clear and present that you are the one stirring the pot, I'm kicking you the fuck out. I don't need you to steal. I don't need you to sleep with somebody's old lady. I'm kicking you the fuck out. Because you're a cancer and this shit ain't for you. And honestly, I think if clubs did that, and I know there's bylaws that say, yo, you gotta have a good reason to kick someone out. I think being a cancer should be added into every bylaw. If you are a bitch, you should be able to get kicked out. You shouldn't have to commit a capital crime against a brother to get kicked out of the club. If you are a cancer, that should be enough. If you are in multiple cities, there should be I would think maybe a strike system. And I'm not saying you talk about somebody behind their back one time you're out the club. But what I'm saying, it would be like a strike system. You get 3 strikes, you're out. Because honestly, how many people talk shit behind other people's backs on a consistent basis? I don't think people do that. They might voice their opinion about stuff or whatever, but most people would tell the person how they feel about the situation. It's not like they're gonna be so scared that they're not gonna tell the person to their face. And if they are not welcome in the club. That's how it should be. One thing that I would do that clubs do now, and certain clubs are not doing enough, I would still vet. I would still not allow you in the club if you have certain kind of charges. We already know what that is. And if you're in and we find out you have those, you would get the same consequences as an outlaw club. In my opinion, that's how it should be if someone has nasty charges. You know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about. Anything involving a kid, let's just say it like that. You get the outlaw treatment. I go back, diamond mentality, and you get that. And I wouldn't deal with any of those type of patches, diamonds, 13 diamonds, any outlaw stuff, any territory stuff. I wouldn't deal with it at all, because all it does is bring problems. And I know myself for a fact, I could walk around with all this shit because I'm gonna hold it down, but everybody's not built for that. And even clubs now that are established, a lot of them are not built like that. A lot of them are getting shaken down. A lot of them are losing their cut when they go places. So you it's not worth it to play that game, that diamond game, because everybody is not built like that. Now, when it does work is if you want to stay small and local and you got the hitters on your team and you know you're prepared to get down with anybody because you're from that area and you've put in work for years. You know your guys are like that. But I don't suggest that for anybody. To me, I always say, just join a club. It doesn't really make sense, to start something new unless you want to do something special. You know what I mean? I would still keep prospecting. I got brothers that are diamonds that want to go into other clubs. Things didn't work out with the diamond they were in. And they say, yo, Sos, I want to join whatever club. I'm not going to name them, but, whatever the club it is. But, yo, I don't really feel like going through the whole prospect process and all that. And I always tell them, bro, if you don't want to prospect, you don't even respect that club. So why would you even want to be down with some shit that they would just hand it to you in 2 seconds? Because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to them, and it's not going to mean anything to you. Anybody I know that prospected and really had to go through a lot to get their fully patched, anybody you could tell if they drop a tear when they get fully patched, or when they're so overwhelmed, you see the emotion in them, which there's nothing wrong with that. Because I felt that when I got fully patched, it's such a great feeling. There's nothing like accomplishing something. It doesn't matter what you do in life. It seems like the things that you scratch and claw for, you're always just gonna appreciate it more. You're never gonna appreciate something that you got super easy. That's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think about prospecting and the whole process. But I think it's the reason why MCs are a lot more solid than a lot of groups. And I'm not saying that MCs are perfect, but what I am saying is that prospect process, if it's done properly, a lot of people are not gonna sit through the bullshit that you go through when you prospect. So you just weed them out. The only dangerous thing is cops, because police, they get paid to wait it out. You know, that's their job. So they will sit and they will be the best prospect, and they will go and get you Chinese food at 12 o'clock at night when they were already in bed. They will do that type of stuff. Now let's get back to what I would do with the club if I had one. First things first, Clubhouses is, to me, the downfall of a lot of clubs. And here's the reason why. If you do Clubhouses, I remember, I'm gonna tell you a story. I remember we used to go to every bar, every like fun place to eat. And then I remember there was a point where we decided to get a clubhouse, and I was totally against it. But then we got the clubhouse, and then you know what happens? You're in the fucking clubhouse every day, and that shit gets boring. And you would think, all right, we got the home base. We meet up there, chill for a minute, and then go to another spot. You know what starts happening? People get lazy. And then you know what happens? You ride less. Like, you ride to the clubhouse, but where are you really riding if you're not? It becomes more about expansion, because now you're worried about the dues. Now, what I would do with the dues is stack up a certain amount of money, right? And then how are we gonna take this 15 cents and turn it into $1? So whatever it is, $25, $50, whatever people could afford, I think I would be more understanding. But I would want like a power team of people with money, people with position, you know, and where $50 is nothing. But in my opinion, let's say $50 a month for dues. I think that's pretty fair. If you got a job, $50 isn't too much. Some people it is a lot. But you take that $50 a month and you stack up for a while. Put all our money together. And what we start doing is, instead of opening clubhouses, we open businesses. I've brought this up to the table many times. We could, I don't know, a gym. Let's say a gym, right? We put all our money together, we get a gym. You're bringing money to the table. And when you bring money, you bring more people. Money equals power. So I would make the kiddies businesses. We sit at the table. Listen, what's everybody's talents? When have you ever seen a motorcycle club do that? Sit at the table, ask yourself this. Have you ever sat at the table with your club and just said, yo, what's your talent, yo? Let's go around the table. What is a talent you have? Oh, I know how to do graphics. Oh shit, you do? Oh, I know about, you know, clothing and stuff. Oh, all right, you got graphics, you got clothing. Why don't we do a clothing line? What if 30 people are sitting at a table coming up with ideas? How much power is in that? You sit there and argue about what's a better logo. Sit there, you got to get an approval from 30 different people. How dope would your clothing line be? Maybe you have people that's good at music. Push them in the music. The club gets behind them. You know how many people I know that are in clubs and it's like pulling teeth to get the members of their club to be in their music video? And if everybody's eating, nobody's gonna be upset, because what I'm saying is we're breaking this pie 30 ways. Now your family members are getting involved. Everybody's eating. It's a positive situation. It's not cops. There's no rival clubs, because you don't have a rival club, because you don't have territory.